In Inquiry 6.1, we're talking about diffusion. So for our experimental setup, we're using a dialysis membrane, which is this plastic-like stuff you see coming out the top of the test tube. In our first dialysis membrane, we put sugar solution. Sugar solution is just corn syrup and water, so it's full of sugar. In our other test tube, inside the dialysis membrane, we put starch solution, which is a combination of cornstarch and water. Now, outside of the membrane, in the test tube, we have water, just regular distilled water. Now, after we've let these sit for 15 minutes or longer, we're going to take the dialysis membranes out and we're going to test the solution inside the test tubes. When we performed that experiment, we did a sugar test using the Benedict solution and a starch test using the Lugol solution. So if we go and look at our results, then you will draw the sugar solution test tube on the sugar solution side of the data table. And on the starch solution side, you can draw the picture of our setup of the starch solution test tube. Okay, now after we did our test, we found out that the test tube that had the sugar solution in it tested positive for sugar and negative for starch. The starch solution water that was outside of the membrane but in the test tube tested negative for sugar and also tested negative for starch. Okay, if we look at our analysis, the chemical test for the presence of sugar was positive. This indicates that sugar did pass through the membrane. And the chemical test for the presence of starch was negative. This indicates that starch did not pass through the membrane. To learn more about diffusion, I want you to read Diffusion and Active Transport, Getting from Here to There, on page 62, 63 in the online textbook, which is page 78 and 79 on the blue slider.